Psst. Come here. Come here. Did you know this indicator light is supposed to light up? Did you know? Well, if you're like myself and many other Z3 owners, you probably didn't know that that indicator light for your headlight is supposed to actually light up. Let me show you how we can go ahead and fix it. All right, my friends, welcome back to the channel. I'm Terry, and today we're going to go over how to do the easy fix for your headlight dash indicator. For this job, you're not going to need very many tools. You're going to need either a trim tool, or you can just use your credit card if that's all you have available to you. Just get something like that. You'll need an 8mm little socket wrench, and then you're going to need some screwdrivers. So get yourself a standard screwdriver, your flathead, and then get yourself a Phillips. I got two different sizes here because I'm not quite sure which one I'm going to need. But that's pretty much all you need to get this job done. Oh, and of course, replacement light bulbs. You got to get these. And these are the Sylvania 2721s. So go ahead and get yourself some of these. And they're not expensive. I was able to go to Advance. I think I paid around $5 or $7, I think, for these. And you get them in a pack of 2. Now, this is not a common size. So I did find that some places might only have had one in stock, or none at all. So, you know, go ahead and shop around for them. You can go online as well if that makes it easier for you, but they will be a little bit more expensive online. But all your local auto parts shops should already have these. So let's go ahead and get this thing fixed. All right, so you come on over to where your headlight switch is. You'll see there's like this groove right here. This is where you're going to go ahead and you're going to either use your trim tool or a credit card. And you're just going to gently go right in there, and this should pop that cover right off just like that. Nice and easy. It just has a couple little tabs on it, and it'll come right off. Now, if you look down inside there, you will see that that's where your 8mm little nut is. So if you go ahead and get yourself a little 8mm little socket tool or socket wrench and go ahead and get that out. Now, I went ahead and I just have my little 1/4-inch little socket with a little extension on it. So that way I should be able to easily fit in there and get that little nut out. Be careful not to break this. You see how this rotates? This is what activates how bright or dim your dash lights are. So be careful that this doesn't break. Now the trick is getting this to hold still. So I'm going to go all the way counterclockwise. Hopefully I'll be able to loosen it without it turning on me. Looks like it's de-threading the bolt itself for me. Perfect. So just keep turning it counterclockwise and it will actually unthread the nut for me. So I'm just going to keep spinning it. And then it came right off, and there's my little nut still inside here. So I'm just going to leave it sit there for safekeeping, and now this piece is extracted. I'm going to use my trim tool to start getting the vent to come out a little bit. Just trying to find a way to jimmy under here to kind of get it to separate. There we go. Just do what you can to start working it loose. Once you get this loose to where you can kind of move it around, don't forget that at the very top, it's kind of hard to see it, but at the very top, there is a screw, and that's where your Phillips screwdriver comes into play. I might need to get a shorter one because I'm hitting my steering wheel, but you'll have to get that screw out of there, and then as you push in the tab that's down here, this piece here should separate from the actual vent unit casing, and it'll come out. Now, just so you know, this part here and this little image right here, those are going to fall out. So just be careful so when this piece down here falls out, you don't lose your little image card. You will see I got my screw loose. And it's real tiny and my finger is real big, so I'm going to have to just kind of pull it out with my screwdriver here. There we go. I'm not to where I can grab it. There you go. One little screw right there. And it's, like I said, right at the top. It's a tricky to get at, so if you have a really short screwdriver with a Phillips head, that would be your best bet for this. All right, and then once that's out, you can pull this out much further. Just like that. You'll see how it's kind of connected at the top. This is where we got to separate the tab on the bottom here to get that piece to let go. And there went my little image card that I said would fall out. Mine just fell out. I think it fell on the inside. You can see the, well, the angle's not good, but you can see the bulb right in there. All right, let me see if I can get the tab pushed in to get this piece to separate, and then I'll be able to get the rest of the vent off. All right, well, I wasn't able to get it to fully come out. There's some tabs on the side here and the inside here that you can push in to get this rest of the way. But I was actually able to get mine enough to where the lower part that holds the bulb itself, I was able to pull that out. And of course, don't forget the little image card that will fall out. It's inevitable, it will fall out. Just don't lose it. So this part here, sorry, it's really hard to get the camera to fit in here because of the steering wheel. But this is where your bulb goes. It's hard to see it, but there's like a little tab on this side and a little tab on the opposite side. You just gotta gently pull it away, bend it backwards slightly, just enough for it to let go of the lip on this plastic piece here. And then this piece, this little casing piece here will come right off, fully exposing the light bulb. And now that makes that accessible to change. All right, let's see if I can just pull this bulb out. Well, it came out quite easily once I didn't have to juggle holding the camera. So there's the old bulb. You can see cloudy. Sorry, it's really small. It's really cloudy. You can't see through it anymore. Definitely burnt out. This is the old one. And then this is the new one. You can see straight into the new one, whereas this one I can't see the little filament in there. It's got like this metal coating kind of like splattered all over the inside of the glass. But this one, the new one, is transparent. This one here is definitely blown out. All right, I got the replacement bulb in. All right, there's a tab on this side, right along in here, and a tab right over in here. You push those in with a screwdriver, those two tabs, you push those two tabs in, and then you take your thumb and you push in the center here. You can separate your vent from this, the light switch itself, the headlight switch. And then you can completely remove your vent, just like that. So this is how you would, if you have to replace your vent, this is how you would take it off. And you'll see the bulb is just sitting right there. You're going to want to put the casing on last. So like you'll put the casing back into here because it snaps in place. And then you will feed your bulb into it and then the switch back into it. All right, so now that you have the vent housing off, you got to put your little image card back in. Make sure the light bulb is left and your bright symbol's to the right. And then just slide that right into its little home right here. It'll just sit there nicely. If I put my finger on it and I use to flip it over, you can see light bulb left, bright symbol right. And then that sits in place. You look real careful here. There's a little slot right here. This is where you were pushing the little tab with a screwdriver to get this to come apart. So we're going to go ahead and reverse that step. So if you take this little piece here that the bulb snaps into, if you look right above this big slot, there's that little tab. Gently sit this in here and have that little tab sit right in that slot. It'll kind of just sit in place. And once you get it to where it's seated real nice, you're going to push down on this side here. This is going to slowly slide. See how it's got this angle to it? It's going to slowly slide and lock into place, and you'll hear it click. Just be extra gentle. And click. And now it's going to hold your little image card in place. And now it's ready to snap the bulb in. But you're not going to be able to get it right away because your actual wiring is going to be too short to reach. So what you want to do is take the actual headlight switch, and you're going to go ahead and insert that first back into the cylindrical little space right here, so you can get this close enough. Not all the way. You don't want this to snap all the way. You want to make sure you still have enough room to feed the little light bulb back into its home right down here. Try to get your little vent piece. There's really dark in there, but you'll see when you're taking this apart, there's a tube right there that this vent here is going to connect into. So you're going to want to try to make sure you get that to go back inside that tube. Get the switch to start going back in its place here. Get it to snap in with those little tabs and get the bulb in. All right, so I went ahead and I got the switch tucked back into the side here to make it a little easier to get the vent back into place. So hopefully that'll work, and I have the bulb out just enough to where I'll be able to slot that in when I get to it. But I need to have this, I'm going to have to hold the actual headlight switch over as far to the side as I can, just until I can get this tube back in place. I'm going to go ahead and see there's these tabs right here on the switch. I'm going to go ahead and snap that back on like that. All right, I was able to get the switch snapped back in place, and I've been slowly getting this to go back in the slot. Now I'm going to quickly go ahead and get the bulb inserted where it needs to go, and then snap the rest of this in place. All right, so I found while trying to put it together that every time I would put pressure in to try to push this in, the little clamp and the little light picture indicator kept falling out. So to keep it in place, what I did was I put some painter's tape on the outside so I could slide the indicator little picture back in place and have tape kind of hold it there so it stops sliding out. And then I snapped the little casing on behind it that holds the bulb in back in place and just kind of held it there while I'm trying to push this in, so that way as I push the vent back in, that little bulb housing doesn't come off again and the little picture doesn't come out again, because every time I kept pushing in, they both kept falling out. So I'm trying to hold it in with my finger, and the tape is keeping the picture in place just enough to where I'll be able to seat this back in place. I think I finally got it to where I can maybe push it in. I do see, I'm not going to be able to show it on camera very well because, like I said, this is very tight corners. But right where the bulb wiring is down in here, I see that it's hitting the actual dash. So I can't just cram it in because I'll snap the wiring. So that's my obstacle right now, is trying to get that wiring to go back in without snapping the metal connection piece right there. But then I should be able to just get this to snap back in place. So that's the next step. All right, I got that little metal piece under there to slide in. So now the final snap. Yeah, baby! I got it in. That was more difficult than it should have been. Let's pray that the light switch light is... Oh, yes, it worked. It held the picture in place. There it is. It didn't fall out. I did it. Oh, my gosh. I've actually been juggling with this for a good 10 minutes just trying to get it to work, because every time, like I said, every time I tried moving this in place, either this picture came loose, the clamp on the back came out, the metal part of the light bulb kept catching right down here in this corner, and I had a finesse. I needed all my hands and fingers to try to hold every little thing in place. The tape was a savior to keep the picture in place because I can't hold that. So we got it in place. So now it's snapped back in. I can still move. All this stuff is still functioning. All right, so now let's go ahead, get that screw back in at the top there, and that's the next step. So let's just go ahead and get that screw back in. All right, so my screwdriver wasn't working, so I went ahead and I dug out my old screwdriver set. These are really small little screwdrivers for more delicate work. I use these when I need to disassemble like my Xbox controller and things like that. So these are a lot shorter, so I'm hoping I'll be able to get it in there and get that screw in place. All right. Now these are not magnetized at all, so I will have that working against me. But at least it's a shorter screwdriver. The little screw doesn't want to bite down. And honestly, I don't even know if the screw was tight when I took it out, because it kind of just fell out for me. I don't think it was even tight to begin with. Yeah, and no matter what I do, it is not threading in. It's just spinning, so I might just need to negate the screw, because there's nothing wrong with my screwdriver. It's the right size. I got plenty of room here. I'm not hitting the steering wheel anymore. And the screw still won't thread in. So there might be an issue where maybe the hole just got too badly threaded and the screw came loose on its own, and that's why it just kind of fell out when I was taking this apart. Is I don't think the screw was holding it to begin with. So we're gonna just skip that step and hope that nothing, hopefully that screw isn't that crucial. Now the next step is then to take this piece here, and we're gonna screw this back on. And I got my little my little 8 millimeter little nut right here. So let's first slide this back in. I'm gonna just kind of slowly screw this on. Okay, that's where it stops. Do not force it because you'll break it. This is once again, this is you turn this to brighten and dim your actual dash light. So don't snap that, don't force it. This is really small, delicate little pieces right here. I can't even reach in there. Well, I can get one finger in there, but I need two to pinch the little nut. Get on there. Oh, I think I might have got it. Okay. I'm going to try to spin it on with my fingertip. Just need it to thread. And then my socket can do the rest of the work. Oh, I think I got it to thread. I did. Yay! Alright, I got it kind of snug with my fingertip. Now I'll take my little 1/4 inch and my 8 mil and just give it a little tightening. Helps if I actually remember to put this in tightening position. There we go. Just a little. Don't break it. You don't gotta go much. I just need it to kind of snug up. I think it's snug. Okay. I'm really trying not to put too much pressure. I do not want to snap any of that. All right. That is in place. I'm still able to turn the dimmer switch. Okay. Now the next thing is to take the actual cap and snap that back in. You'll see there's these little grooves here that will line up. So I think this one goes like that. All right, and then snap that on like that. Boom. I'm able to pull my switch. So I can see this kind of pulls out a bit. That's probably why that screw does, is that screw probably holds this in from all that pressure. So I'll have to be gentle until I'm able to figure out how to get that screw to tighten in. But for now, I'm able to move the switch. So let me go ahead and see if the light works. Moment of truth. Oh, turn signal. And it lights up. It is lit up. It's a really bright, sunny day today, so. But it is lit up. You don't need to change this light bulb. It's just nice to have it so that way when, you're looking at the car, it's all uniform and it's complete. So that was the biggest factor for me. So that's all you got to do. And now you can go ahead and change your bulb. All right, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Once again, I am Terry, and this is Cool Cats Alley. And we just went ahead and we fixed the little indicator light for the headlight switch. I hope you enjoyed this video, so go ahead and give it a thumbs up if it helped you out. And subscribe to the channel so you can be ready for more great content for the Z3, as well as other vehicles that I might, come across to do little projects on, and all those good things. Tell a friend. Word of mouth is powerful, my friends. And until next time, I'll check you guys out soon. Bye.